And next up, we have my first CFO at the Author Incubator, author Pam Pryor. She is the author of Your First CFO. Come join me out here. So Pam's book, Your First CFO, The Accounting Cure for Small Business Owners. Such a powerful book. I read the very first whiffs of this book. We have a process called the Ideal Reader. And in the Ideal Reader, I ask our authors to start by describing the problem that their ideal reader is in, and it should be so emotionally evocative that the person who reads this, the person who you wrote the book for, when they read the book, they should be so connected to what you do. They should be throwing money at you. And literally before a word was written of your book,
True.
I believe I was throwing money at you because you really capture, I think, in this book, the challenge that small business owners have. So I know why you wrote your first CFO, but why don't you tell people out there, maybe you're a small business owner or there's somebody that you know and love who owns a business or is thinking of owning it, copy paste this link. Pam's going to tell you about the book while she's talking. Go download it and forward it to at least one friend. Tell us about your first CFO.
Great. Well, I know you know this, but it was hard for me to imagine. Most small business owners don't love finance and accounting.
Shocking.
So
Shocking.
Came as a surprise to me.
I like
but
books.
That's
Does
right.
that count?
That's right. So one of the things, the main thing that I try to do with this book is break down finance and accounting into a small business owner's language and show a blueprint for how you can get from avoiding or being scared of or frustrated with your accounting and finance for your business into a spot where it's something that you value as providing incredible insight into what's going on in your business.
Yeah, I think for many of us who are visionary and entrepreneurial and open to taking risks and excited about being creative about ideas and getting, in my case, books out into the world, I always thought that numbers were like a necessary evil. And the reason I knew they were necessary is I know I need to do my taxes or I might go to jail.
Right.
And my CPA was always asking me a whole bunch of questions I didn't want to answer.
Yep.
But there was another piece of it that you, in the very, right from the beginning, opened my eyes that maybe there was even more possibility for creativity. Maybe there were actually a freedom instead of a constraint.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Your accounting and finance should follow you as the creative artist of your business. And that's, I think, what happens to a lot of small business owners is there are some templates and standard ways to approach accounting that forces you into a box. And my whole intent is to say it doesn't need to be that way. Tell me how you think, how you create, how you run your business, and let us make your accounting and finance work for you.
Love it. We're getting so many questions. I'm going to get to them because they're all so good. Monica says, what types of small businesses would benefit from reading the book? And somebody else asked, does it apply to nonprofits?
That's a great question, Monica. Hi. Yes, it's all sorts of small businesses. The neat thing about my background is it crosses a whole lot of industries, from baking to trucking, if you can believe that. But just for an example, my sister is the minister of a Methodist church, and they have to deal with finance and running a business as well, and the tips and the blueprint will be equally as useful for her. Plus, she has an in to ask extra questions.
Yeah, right. If
Hi, Chris.
The right sister to have if you have a business. So numbers and books don't always words and numbers, like they get separated. What do you think if somebody out there is watching and they are not necessarily a writer, if numbers are more comfortable than words, what advice do you have for somebody who wants to write a book but doesn't see themselves necessarily as a writer?
Well, I'm going to speak to that as it relates to this process that you've put all of your authors through, and it's a very orderly process. So for somebody who thinks like an accountant, and be it numbers or straight lines or however you want to define it, it's a process that allowed me to go sequentially from step 1 to step 10 or whatever it might be. Coming into this, not just writing the book for an accountant seems like a hurdle, but the jungle of publishing seems like a hurdle as well. And the thing that I would suggest after having done this, I actually heard you on a podcast early on. That's how I got introduced to you. And you talked about a couple of extremes in the publishing world, from self-publishing to, New York Times type publishing. And you offered this wonderful middle ground that dresses my personal needs, sort of does for me the same thing that I hope my finance and accounting help does for a CEO. It walked me through the jungle as I was, without trying to make me something that I'm not. Except for maybe the lipstick.
Yeah, well, just for the red carpet,
That's right.
just to make today super fun. So Pam Pryor is the author of Your First CFO. You can go ahead and get that. You'll see the link on the screen. We've just got one more author to introduce to you today. So I'm going to send Pam.